Hello, everybody, and thank you for this edition of International Women's Day panel. It's a great month at HCLTech. We don't celebrate just one day, we have panel and everything. And today we have incredible women to talk about many events. As you can see here, we have a nice tagline, She Power Progress for HCLTech, and as well, we're gonna a little bit Cody, include her. And it's been a week long, started with our CEO. And my name is Siki Giunta. I run cloud at HCLTech, offering solution, pre-sales and everything, and the Google Business Unit. Before we start, I am going to let my colleague introduce themselves. I'm going to start with Aparna, then Saritha, and then Gowri, because that's how I see you in my screen. Okay, Aparna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, so thank you for this opportunity, Siki. I mean, I completely agree. International Women's Day / month, very exciting. So anyway, I'm Aparna Babu. I'm the director for engineering at eCommerce in HP. My team is responsible for primarily all of the e-commerce engineering activities that we run for HP stores. So all of the HP.com shop, all of those e-commerce sites, that's what my team is responsible for. So yeah, thank you, and I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you. Saritha?
Hi, my name is Saritha Kannaiahgari. I work for Land O'Lakes as a senior principal architect. I basically work on Office 365, all the modules including Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, OneDrive, whatnot. I do work with two different HCL teams. One is on SharePoint support and one is on Exchange support. Yeah, we really deserve to celebrate, and definitely I say Women's Day month should be very, very valuable for women. At least they recognize at this time, I believe. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you for having you. And Gowri?
Hi, I'm Gowri from Marvell India. I'm heading the IT operations for Marvell India site. So basically we take care of all the operational needs, infrastructure needs for Marvell India, and I'm a director of IT here. And thank you for this opportunity. I'm very excited to be part of this panel discussion, to have a very interesting discussion with all of you, the most successful women. Thank you.
You're welcome. What we'll do here, we'll talk about some experience, we'll talk about technology and things like that. So let's start with the first questions, and I'm going to try to go around, and then people can have it interactive. That's the best way possible. So what do you think, what are your thoughts is the best way of engaging and inspiring women to come to work in tech? We still have a little bit of a stigma of the geek effect, but what has been your experience, or what you say to your younger employee or recruitee or even a school to come to work in tech? Aparna, you want to give us your point of view?
Sure. I think this is a very common question, and I struggle with how or what the right answer is, right? And kind of the way I think about it is, I feel like there's two paths for this, right? When we say women in tech, there's a functional role. You'll have a lot of program managers, project managers, leaders. You have a lot of such women folk you'll find across technology companies, okay? I feel like that path is not as constrained as a leader of innovation, leader of labs, leader of hardcore technology. So it's the STEM aspect of trying to get women to be really not only interested in taking it up as a career, but also sticking with it And I think the
Yeah.
sticking with it part, there's a lot of opportunities, at least in the US. You'll see a lot of colleges trying to get women into STEM. You'll have a lot of programs. I think getting them in is probably getting better along the number of years that we've been, here. But these folks sticking with it, I think, is the problem. And I think money has a role to play. People tend to find jobs that are much better paying after a while. But I think it's also the concept of passion. I mean, you brought up Barbie. I mean, when are we going to start seeing Barbie in the lab? I don't know. I think that passion is something that I feel is still needing some work. I don't have a silver bullet. I don't have the answer. But I do think that there is progress around the functional roles. There are more women coming into technology companies as program managers, business analysts, those kinds of roles, product owners. I think those roles are filling up more with women, but it's the hardcore lab, the science, the innovation. That's the STEM kind of role that people have to really find and stick to.
Yeah, sticking with it, it's the challenge. Getting better. What about you, Saritha? What's your experience?
Can you come again, Siki? What was the question actually?
The question was, what it is your experience and effective method to get women in, or girls, or into technology?
Coming to me, I feel like we see a lot more women in technology compared to back when I started after my engineering. A lot of them, even in my own family, I see back in my family, they don't let women work or go higher in their education. But now all my cousins, my next cousins, they are coming to US, they are pursuing their masters, they are into STEM, they are into, like as Aparna said, some of them are choosing into scientific positions like a researcher or a scientist. I see we are everywhere, and there is a lot more that can be brought up into for women, but I see the opportunities are good. Even I have a daughter, and I recently signed up for a webinar which says young girls coming into technology, bring young women into technology. So they are encouraging, at least here in US I can say. So there are a lot more opportunities that are grooming for them. I really like it, and I hope to see more coming for women.
And you're right, education has made the difference, and it's been a self, not just family pushing, but curiosity for female. And I saw that in the school. It's not just, you studying tech is a geek. You actually gonna be able to make a difference.
But I feel people also changing, their mindset also changing. If I see, I was the first woman in my family who did engineering and who is working in IT and who came out of the country. So I'm very thankful to my parents, but that opportunity is still lacking more. Even seeing in different roles, but I see a drastic change in last 5 years or so. So many women are coming. I think that's really great, and I think we manage well compared to other gender. I'm not gender biased, but then we manage things way better. Multitasking, we can handle like 2 jobs, like at home and as well as at work, even though they're challenging, but we successfully complete them in a very, very, very strategic fashion, I believe. So I think we are more.
So Gowri,
as Aparna rightly said, right, it is not about bringing women into STEM or tech. It is all about sticking around. Even these days, sticking around is also a possibility, but moving from there, transitioning to a leadership role, owning and growing in their career path is where it needs a lot of support and encouragement for women to be brought into the tech world. Like what I would say is like basically, right, it needs 3 combos, I would say. Like it is all about having role models to showcase them that they belong and they can thrive in this industry. And one way of doing that is highlighting the achievements and success stories of women in tech by showing this diverse role models, right? We can demonstrate that women belong in this industry and have the potential to thrive. And second thing I would say is like inclusive, supportive workplaces. I mean, organizations should demonstrate a commitment to inclusivity. When we have a inclusive environment, women will feel supported and valued, and they will definitely enter more. We will have more women representing tech space. The third thing is right as Saritha said, starting early in their education during supporting the girl to explore various opportunities in tech world as part of their curriculum, like tech forums or science exhibitions, right? That will trigger their curiosity right from the young age. They'll be very much interested in entering into the tech space and thriving on it. And the third thing I would also say is like celebrating the achievements and contributions of women. I mean, like when we do that, it not only recognizes the contribution of women, but it will also inspire other women in tech world that they can thrive in this environment. So for me, those three combos, to have a role models, to celebrate their achievements, inclusive workplace, that's the combo that will get the women more into the tech world.
That's very good because it helps me for my next question. So everybody at the start of their career has somebody, a mentor, sponsor, and everything. And I think mentorship goes very hand in hand with the success of a person, okay, and programs. And I had my mentor because I started in finance and then I hated it. And somebody says, but your mind is more mathematical, why don't you start in technology? And that was it, you know. I got into a lab and I'm going, that's my environment, my comfort zone and everything. And I thank that person. I've thanked that person a lot in my life. What do you personally had as experience with mentors and sponsor, and how you do it today? I know it takes a lot of time, but you have to give before you take. That's my story. So Aparna.
Yeah, the give before you take, I think is, I heard this somewhere in a different panel as well, that they said, the women of today who are leaders really need to kind of follow that, because otherwise, what you got, if you don't give back, you can't be sitting here on a panel and say, how do we get more women into tech? You're part of the problem, right? Anyway, so I mean, I've had really great mentors throughout my life, and my mentors they just happen to be my managers. It's not like I've actually gone out and looked for mentors, but every step of my career, my immediate manager has been that mentor. Okay, I've had, starting with my very, very early career, they've taken the time to not just be a manager, but actually play a mentor. There's a huge difference between a manager and a mentor, okay? More often than not, you'll find managers not having the time to invest in the people because they're doing so many different things. They just don't have the time practically. So I was very lucky in that it's very convenient to have your manager as a mentor, because not only do they know everything that you're working on, they also know what you need to do to be able to kind of progress in your career, right? So it's a very convenient kind of blend, in my opinion. So yeah, the mentorship is also something that I've learned over a period of time is different than a coach, is different than a sponsor. So trying to kind of understand all those differences and figuring out what you need at various steps in your life is probably what is going to make you successful. You may need a mentor at some point. You may need a sponsor at some point. You may actually need a coach all of the time. So I feel like, trying and understanding that difference is going to be very critical. And for us, at least for me right now, I try to do that, at least for the folks in my team, in the sense that I'm not trying to go outside and say, hey, who wants me as a mentor? Okay, that's kind of weird. But at least for the people in my team, I do try to kind of be there for them. And it's my way to be able to say, stick with it. There is definitely a path forward for you. And that's my way of really just showing that mentorship to them, is really making sure that, one, they know that I'm there. Two, I can show them the path so they don't feel frustrated. They don't kind of feel like, this is not where they want to be. There are people that feel like that. There will always be people like that. And Saritha is talking about her daughter. I couldn't even get my son to stick with STEM. Okay. So, there will be people like that. But I just feel like, for the right people, you have to show them the path so that they can, look at it in the future. But yeah, I've had great mentors in my life.
That's very important. And I think, I say to the people that work in my team is that you have to have the courage to ask.
Yes.
And it's a lot of time easier because we work together to provide mentorship, coach, whatever it is you need. But we have to be strong to be able to say,
yes,
I really need your help.
Yes.
But it is easier to start that way.
And it is the job of the leaders to make it an environment where people feel that courage to ask, right? And that's the job of the leaders.
Saritha, what's your experience with mentorship and everything?
I kind of go with what Aparna said. I don't have any specific outside mentor or coach. Usually my manager. He's a man, but still I really utmost respect him. The way he coached, the way he take us into a negative situation, into positive situation. I can say I learned a lot from him. There is a lot to learn. I did have some women who was my managers. I'm thankful they are very great as well. They taught me a lot of things. But I being mentored to someone, not really. So I don't know much about it. But if anybody needs help, I'm happy to help. Anything, whatever I can. I think that's all I got an opportunity so far, I believe.
So there is a LinkedIn, an organization called Cloud Girls. Cloud Girls. And by the way, they don't just do cloud, but you do 365. So that's pertinent. In there, they have a mentoring link if you want to. But sometimes it takes time. So sometimes you have to be ready for the incoming when you put your name out there and everything. Gowri, what's your experience?
Yeah, I would say mentorship played a crucial role in my leadership journey. Earlier to that, when I was in the technical role, being an individual contributor, right? I did not had a formal mentor as such, but there were a lot of my friends and managers who mentored my career journey in the beginning of my career. You can learn, take their guidance, their advices, right time, right advices will set your career path. And I would say especially when we transition from a tech individual contributor role to a managerial or leadership path, mentorship plays a crucial role in shaping who we are, and it was a transformational journey for me. I did have an opportunity of undergoing a formal mentorship program, one coaching and 2 mentorship program in last 2 years. I would say that played a pivotal role in defining who I am today. All my mentors with their their insights, guidance, and sometimes the constructive feedbacks on where we need to work on our leadership journey, right? It was very helpful. It not only helped me to grow as a leader, but it also helped me accelerate my personal growth. It has built my perspectives has grown, and the way I handle challenges, it's completely different, and it is very helpful. I would say even though the early career lays the foundation for who we are, where we grow, mentorship is a key in our journey as a leader. And I would recommend everybody to take it up whenever you have an opportunity. It could be either a formal person or an informal, your colleagues, managers, or one level supervisor, one level above your managers. So I would say go for it.
And it is very rewarding as well.
Yeah.
Because we, every day we have KPI and this and that and the other, and the world gets a little bit, too unempathetic. When you do your mentorship, then you go back to your empath yourself and trying to give. And, you see joy when people grow. And when they go to the next step, you have challenges too. Sometimes, you cannot make somebody do something that is not natural to them, but you need to learn how to, navigate that. And that's why I think I have this concept of balance sheet when I go to bed. I say how many good things I did versus things that humanly is not good, and if it's positive every day, or at least not negative, I am happy. And when I do my mentorship, I'm high every day because at least I've given something. Now, to go back to a concept that Gowri said as the third element of success is having a company that accepts diversity and inclusions and things like that. So if you can share things that you've seen your company's done or things that your company would like to do. For instance, in my case, I'm just very strong on taking bias when we hire. You've got to not have a bias that, this person is, I got more resume on this side than the other. I said, we need at least an equal number. Because if you search, you will find, sure, it's easy. The majorities are, you find more men than women, but our recruiting has to make a little bit more effort on that. But Aparna, HP is a forefront of D&I, but there are some good direction that you can share for people that look for company that have a D&I, diversity and inclusion, culture.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like I've actually sort of been very, very lucky in the sense that throughout my career, I've never really felt like I'm the woman in the room. I've never been made to feel that, oh, she's in the room. I've never had that happen, ever. Okay. So that to me almost gives me a perspective of we need diversity of thought and experience. You call it diversity, inclusion of gender or, anything else, but it is more about the thought and the experience that is paramount. That is, in my mind, the first thing you go after, right? And when you're recruiting, now we don't have a very long recruiting list, but when we are recruiting, that is one of the things that I look for. Yes, we should spend the time, don't go after the first diverse candidate that you get, or the non-diverse candidate. Definitely spend the time because there is a problem in quantity. So when there is a problem in quantity, you do have to spend the time to make sure that you're at least able to look for, those options that haven't really come up as your first option. But at the end of the day, to me, it really is all about thought and experience. It doesn't necessarily have to come down to gender. And as long as I'm able to get the right person with the right thought and experience, that's just really all I go after.
That's a good principle. You have to hire the best person for the job.
Yeah.
But if you give me a bigger pool, I can make a choice. That's
why, exactly. And that's why it's important to spend the time so that you can get those kinds of people included in the pool.
Yeah. Saritha, what's your experience at your company, and what do you think can suggest to people looking for company that have, inclusion principles?
I think Landolex is way high and totally into diversity and inclusion. We have a regular DEI meetings, sessions that we lead among our teams as well. To be honest, in my team, I'm the only woman who is totally different. When I say different in the sense, basically my religion, my identity, everything is like totally different. But I never faced anything from my team or anybody from my cross-functional teams, like why am I different or any race-based or gender-based biasing. Nothing. Everything is like totally fully supportive, and people understand and they ask questions. They want to know about my culture. Basically, in my one-on-ones, as I said, my manager is really thankful to have him as a manager. But we talk a lot because about how we have all these festivals that we celebrate, what is these auspicious pujas, all those things. He is very into my religion and he has all these and he try to learn. But I do say I also had some bad experiences in the past. So she was a woman, my manager, but then too much racism, too much negativity. I went through a lot, but I don't say it's a gender based. It's a personality. It's a people based. I believe it's not targeting women or men. It's, I think, the personality, how they treat people is what I feel. But for me, yeah, as I said, right now in this current Landolex, I think it's really great when it comes to diversity and inclusion.
I think you're right. You have to learn. That's what I say to my mentee. You have to go for the interview, and then you have to let your comfort with the person who is interviewing. In the long run, that person might not be bad, but if you can't get along in the first moment, it's going to be tough in the long run. We should never judge a person on the first instinct, but if you personally are not that comfortable, it's going to be tough in the long run. And it shouldn't be generic that company is that. As you said, it's down to the personal person, but it is important that each one of us are strong to be able to see, I really don't mesh with this person. I can't. If I don't mesh now, I'm never going to mesh. Or maybe you say, I would like to have another interview. Some people have some bad days or something like that.
But actually, there are some situations where people ask, are you pregnant or are you planning to have any kids soon or later? This is the question I got in one interview. I was like surprised. So if I'm planning,
do they do it in US?
I felt like, what was this question about? Because I don't know what they might have a project that they don't want a person to go in maternity leave or have that gap or something. I don't know. But that's not a question that you should ask in an interview. Maybe you put that in your job requirement that if you are a woman, if you are planning to have any kids, don't apply. Say that. But in the interview, they were asking face to face. I'm like, and at that time I was 2 months pregnant. I don't know what to say. Then I had to like, you know what? Yeah, I'm expecting a kid. So
I think some managers should get some training.
I think that definitely sounds like lack of training on how to ask the question.
Because
then I'm like, you know what? I'm not fit for this job. Thank you.
That's what it is. Because I think it's been quite a while.
Was that in the US?
Yeah, it's in US. I've been living here for almost 15 years. This was back in like 10 years back when I had my son. That's when they asked me this question: are you pregnant or planning to have any kids? I was like, what to say? I'm like, yeah.
It is interesting. I think it's important that we do the training for the recruiters and for the
and he was the IT director at that time who asked me the question. He was the IT director. I was so surprised. to get that question face to face from him.
It's a learning thing. But it's hard to say, you shouldn't ask me that question because that's
Yeah, it's hard to say that.
But
Yeah, it is hard to say that.
Yeah, I'll have many children. I hope God will give me many, and that's it. Whatever answer. But that's a very nice experience. Thank you, Saritha, for sharing.
We talk about diversity and inclusion. In my organization, we call it as inclusion and diversity, including the diverse group of people, perspectives. So that is what we call it in Marvell. So basically, right, in Marvell, inclusion and diversity is the key focus because, right, we strongly believe inclusive workplace is where people with diverse perspectives can come up with the creative solutions for most difficult problems and situations. As part of it, right, we do have gender neutral, not only gender neutral, diverse hiring practices. We are not big on increasing the diversity numbers. We are big on giving opportunities for diverse group of people. So we have fair hiring policies. And also, right, we ensure hiring managers undergo unconscious bias training. It is a mandatory training every hiring manager has to go through. And also, when we form the interview panel, right, we ensure it is represented by a mix of people wherever it is possible, so that everybody gets an equal opportunity. And also, right, in our workplace, we have formed a group, employee support group called Women at Marvell. It is, it is led by the Inclusion and Diversity Committee at corporate level. We have each regional group, and every region, say for example in India, right, we have 3 sites. Every site has their own Women at Marvell group. And I'm happy to say that I am Women at Marvell Bangalore chapter lead. So we have a guiding principle: embrace, enable, and empower women development. It's more of a voluntary group. We come up with programs, plans aligned with these 3 principles. We come up with some activities, learning by sharing, or you have panel discussions, or some lunch with executives who are visiting, or we even have come up with the wellness plan. So our organization is big on inclusive workplace, and I'm happy to share that we have a dedicated group who are focused on women development.
That's awesome. And I think you listed a lot of important items that when I do my mentorship and people says, how can I know if the company is diverse? And I say, you can do website search, but I think you have to ask. You have to ask the question, who is in the panel? How many people? Interview, tell me about your, activity internally and everything. And I think that's a great blog that you should write, because I don't think that our mentee or the young ones that go on interview do actually ask the right questions. And it is an interview moment. It is the moment where, you're unequal. You're making a choice, they're making a choice, and these are the questions. And I always thought I want to write them down, but I think, Gowri, you just tell them all, write the blog, and so everybody can push it out for everything. Now let's get to technology, because we are technologists and we love technology, and so there is a lot at the moment, Gen AI and augmented reality and IoT and things like that. So, and I think my question is, I do feel personally that there are incredible technology. It's going to change our life. So being scared about it, it's wrong. Curiosity should lead our mentee, and getting into understanding the problem, like I am strong about Gen AI for buyers, and I am very supportive of Europe, putting out legislations and things like that. But we have a long way to go. So what's your point of view, and what would you say to the people that listen to this podcast and to this panel about the new technology and how to approach it? Aparna.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, it's a no-brainer that new technology is something that you have to be curious about. Okay, how you adopt it or how you adapt to the new technology is completely in your control. There has to be regulation. There has to be, secure practices to be able to do all of the technology that we're talking about. When the cell phones first came out, I don't know that everybody just embraced it and said, "Oh yeah, lovely," But that's just now a part of life. I mean, can you imagine your life without a cell phone, right? And I feel like that's where we're headed. I actually saw an advertisement recently where there's this, I think it's called a magic chef or something like that. And you basically, press a few buttons and throw things in there, and it makes, a meal for you. Okay, lovely. I mean, my son can use it. I feel like that's a very simple example of what technology can bring to you, but you have to be curious about it. You have to be ready and prepared to accept what's coming and train yourself. I mean, educate yourself, learn about it, go read about it. This being scared of technology, I mean, we're way past all that, right? I mean, this is in this day and age, we're way past of being scared about it. Now is the time to really be curious about it and see what you can do to learn and play and adapt to it. And maybe it brings about a new career change for some of the people. Maybe it brings about new opportunities. Maybe it brings about new ways of doing things. All of that is okay. I think all of that is something that you plan and get ready for. I mean, AR is really just my thing that I've just kind of been looking forward to. I'm like, that's cool. I want to kind of be doing more of AR stuff. But I feel like it is something that people are just going to have to learn and educate themselves individually and be prepared for.
I love, being scared of technology. We're past that. I think it's a good tagline. Saritha, what's your point of view?
I mean, like, if you want to sustain and if you want to be in this industry, then you have to be up to the mark. And honestly, we don't leave or have any choice if you should be cutting edge. Because right now the tools we are seeing, how we are transforming into cloud, AI, this Copilot and whatnot, you have to be into it and you have to embed that into your routine. Otherwise, I don't think we don't have any spot in this industry if we are not. As Aparna said, you should have that curiosity living in you in order to sustain. Otherwise, I think that will be the end.
So exactly, I told one of my mentee, and I said, "Oh, it's going to be complicated. I'm way behind." And I'm just saying, a little bit of secret. Apart from being a scientist on AI for the last 20 years, that's different. But in this world of Gen AI, everybody is new. Everybody's got. We're all starting at the same, and the tools are simple for everybody. So just don't get scared, because it isn't what I know. I probably know 4 months more than you do. Come on, 4 months is nothing. It isn't like, yes, if you're doing biometric AI, algorithms, that's different. But in this today, it's accessible and everybody's starting from the same experience. And
things are also like way available for you. You don't need to pay any financial budget or anything. Everything is coming as a short videos or quick learners. A lot more resources that are available. As Aparna said, without phone, we can't even imagine our life now. So everything is there. You just search for it, or even I have a Google Home at home. So when I have conversations with my family or discuss something, automatically I start getting those as recommendations in my videos. I was like so surprised. I'm like, when did we had this conversation? I've been getting these ads and these recommendations. So it's easy. You don't need to be scared. And as you said, we all are learning together. Nobody is SME here, because today I learned this, next day it's been deprecated and something new is coming. So what I learned 10 years back and what I am working right now is no way comparable. So I've been running into this boat like continuously and then updating myself to sustain and then to be a better in this market. So I think, yeah, you need to have that continuous journey and curiosity to get with the flow.
Thank you, Saritha. Gowri, what's your experience?
Yeah, I mean, as Aparna and Saritha rightly said, right, any new emerging technologies, we need to have a curious mindset. And how do we adapt for our business? And for me, Gen AI is the most exciting development in the technology space. I mean, and I truly believe, right, we are at the beginning of new era in the technological revolution. If we look back in 19th century or early 20th century, where, right, people were scared of industry revolution. What will happen? People are going to lose their job. What will they do? But it totally changed. I mean, adapting technologies in farming, whatnot, right? And people are having more career opportunities. You don't have famine or lack of food, or the world has shrunk. It is in your hand, like in internet or people traveling around the world. So I truly believe Gen AI is the beginning of a new era in the technological revolution. And the power and scale of this foundation models and the endless possibilities of using them in resolving a lot of things, right? It is amazing. But at the same time, right, we have to be very careful of the ethical consideration, be it privacy or data classification, because, right, it is end of the day, it is going to use the knowledge available across. It will not know what is ethical. How do we classify? Is it a secure information? Is it confidential data? Everything is under the fingertip of everyone, right? I'm very keen to see how this technology and application is going to evolve in the coming years. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the spirit. You have to look forward to it. And to me, the interesting thing is that, we always, education is power, so don't take it the wrong way. But there are a lot of kids that they think, I got to go to school, I got to go pay a lot of college and everything. I think today, if you apply and you want to learn, you can actually get in the workspace faster. That doesn't mean that later on you will not need to get a degree, because degree is hire yourself, is discipline, is a different way. But it's probably going to give us the ability to have a boost in our, recruiting younger people, because we can use the skills almost straight away. And we have to move away from the bias. You've got to have an engineering degree.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of kids today that have better degree, because for the last 10 years they used technology, and just put them go through college. And afterwards, we always have time to get them there, if they feel like. But it does create a level field so that we can have better skills and everything. So now we have only 15 minutes left, and I would like for you to share, first of all, what makes you a stronger leader, and last, what would you say? What do you say as an advice to younger people? Something that they have to do, and it's like a last thing that you can give to them that it will help them out. But what makes you a strong leader, and which is a simple, 2, 3 or whatever message that you want to give to them, so that they can use this, panel and your wisdom going forward. Aparna.
Okay, so my philosophy of a strong leader is kind of threefold. One, most importantly, we have to be strong in the domain that you're leading. You are leading people, you are leading programs, you're leading, for your organization. You've got to be strong in the domain that you're leading. You may not be strong from day one, but to put in the effort is paramount to be able to come across as a leader that can empathize with the team, not based on the work they're doing or their circumstances or anything, but empathize based on the complexities of what they have to deliver. So to me, that is almost really just essential to be strong in the domain. Secondly, we do have to think of ourselves as leading a team or leading an organization that is people first. The motivation, the path that we show our teams is what is going to make those programs and projects successful. If we think of ourselves as leaders of programs and projects and organizations, I feel like we're going to shortchange our teams, and so I feel like that's kind of secondary. We are leading people. We have to come across as a leader that people want to be part of. So there comes that multiplier effect, if you will. And then lastly, it's about the ability to, in some ways, show them how to do it. I don't mean micromanage. I don't mean sit down and pat out the plan and come up and develop the plan for them. But I do feel like we have to be people that can show them how things can be done. Telling them that it has to be done is not good enough. Showing them a way to do it is kind of how I see it. So those to me are the three things that to me have to be kind of just true to being a good leader. Underlying in all of those three things is just being yourself. You can't be somebody that is just coming to the table and saying, this is what is expected of you. This has to be you. It can't be what is expected of you. It just has to be you. So that's also my advice to young women leaders that are kind of coming up is definitely invest the time in being prepared. Don't wing it. Be prepared. And two, be yourself. Build that brand. Know who you are. Know what your kind of strengths are, more importantly than weaknesses. And also know what you will not do. There has to be a boundary that you will not cross. So I think those are the key things that people have to be very, very firm in. And just build that brand around you, and that's the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself.
Golden nuggets there all around. Thank you, Aparna. Saritha.
I kind of say that what Aparna said, totally agree with her. Those are the main things that anybody would need. But what I believe in is believe in yourself, whatever you do. Be strong and be positive. And just trust in you. Then share the same thing with the people whom you are leading or whom you are traveling, and share positivity. I always believe sharing is caring. So if we go with that thing, I think anything can be achieved, and then we can bring that positivity in the team or anywhere, wherever we go. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gowri.
Yep. So for me, right, a strong leader, it is a mix of multiple qualities. And I'm a strong believer of a leader is as good as his team. So I believe leaders should definitely invest in building their team. As a leader, we should have a very clear vision and roadmap, and we need to communicate down. Right. And also, right, we should have a strategic acumen. Like we need to be good at converting ideas into actionable plans. And as a strong leader, right, we not only like just motivate the team or look at the deliverables, we should also look at how do we inspire our team, so that right that they give out their best. And also, right, at times we need to make tough decisions whenever there is a need, and we should build a culture of collaboration, and we should value diverse perspectives. And at times, right, we need to empower our team members. So basically, right, these are some of the qualities I feel a strong leader should have. And recently I come across a concept called extreme leadership, that talks about positive paranoia. So being a leader should, right, you should always be, you should have a curious mindset, missing out the new technological advancements, missing the bus, right? So that positive paranoia, unconstrained thinking, building bidirectional trust with your team, and your team should be having with you. So these are some of the qualities of being a strong leader. And my advice to the women who are interested in pursuing career in technology, right, what I would say is like, embrace your curiosity. Embrace your build your skill set, and look for support groups who can mentor you, and don't be afraid of setbacks. Look at them as an opportunities to learn and grow. And obviously, right, tech world is looking for diverse perspectives, and you can very well thrive in a technology world. So that's my advice for women who are looking to kickstart their career in technology.
I think it's all of you is great. I've been doing this for a long time, more than I'm ready to confess. And I think leadership is confidence, but confidence only comes from doing it and learning from the mistake and putting yourself out there again, and not ready to. The last thing I say is just being a leader is being a human person. Just don't lose your humble self, because we are, Aparna says you need to know your skill, and I do believe it. I was always against fake it before you make it. No, learn it before you make it, and then say I know this, because it's your credibility out there. People will get fake it, so you just need to know your beat, your skill, and everything. But remember, we are not machine. That's why human will prevail over machine, because we have this humanity and humble perspective of life. The last thing I say, guys, you have to have fun. If it is misery is optional. That's it. You are in charge of your happiness. If you're miserable and you don't do anything about it, I can't do anything. You can't do anything. People, my colleagues say you, and my colleagues at home, you have to have your dimension of happiness. That's why Aparna said you need to know your red line, and the red line moves, but you know it when you're not happy, when things don't go your way. So I am extremely happy to have this great conversation. I hope to meet you in a working environment next time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Siki.
Thank you.
Siki.